When Maya opened the freezer, she thought it was just frozen meat, but then she heard a tiny whimper. Two little boys, curled between ice bags, their lips blue, their bodies shaking. One blinked at her, barely alive. The other was too cold to even cry. And in that moment, Maya understood the horror. Someone wanted these children gone. Forever. Dear God. What is this? There are babies in the freezer. The words burst out of Maya Williams before she knew she said them. Two small bodies. Two little boys curled together between ice bags and frozen meat. Their skin was pale. Their lips were turning blue. One boy blinked slowly, barely awake. The other made a weak sound. Too cold to cry. Maya dropped to her knees without thinking. Sweetheart. Hey, baby. It's okay. I'm here. I got you. Her arms shook as she pulled them from the giant freezer. The icy air cut through her thin gloves. Subscribe for more stories, like the video, and hit the bell to stay updated. One boy grabbed her coat and held on tight like he was drowning. The moment felt unreal, like a nightmare she couldn't wake from. But Maya had seen this coming. Hours earlier, she watched Claire drag the boys down the hall, angry because they spilled juice. Maya tried to help them. Claire yelled at her, cursed her, and said she would fire her if she spoke again. Now the truth lay shaking in Maya's arms. It's okay, baby. I got you, she whispered, wrapping them in towels, rubbing their frozen arms fast. Eli tried to talk through his shaking teeth. Swish, said. It was a cold game. Maya felt her throat tighten with pain. Before she could answer, heels tapped across the kitchen floor, sharp taps like small hammers. Maya froze and looked up. Earlier, she saw Ethan push his brother toward the swing, climb on, and rock gently. Claire smiled behind her mug like nothing was wrong. Maya's stomach twisted. She knew Claire liked to act in front of others. Everything was pretend, and that's when Maya saw it. As Ethan walked near the flowers, she noticed purple on his arm under the sleeve. A bruise, dark, old at the edges. Maya's stomach dropped. Claire hurt them. Claire put them in that freezer. What? Claire gasped now, acting shocked. Maya stood, shaking with anger. That's a lie. I just found them. Loud footsteps rushed down the hall. Damon Whitmore ran into the kitchen, his face white with fear. What happened? Claire ran to him like a helpless princess and grabbed his jacket. It's Maya, she cried. I found her with the boys. She put them in the freezer and she was hurting them. Maya stared in shock. What? Sir, no. She's lying. Claire screamed and pointed at her. She hates me, Damon. She wanted to make me look bad before the party. She tried to ruin everything. That's not. Maya started. But Damon didn't let her finish. He rushed at her so fast she couldn't move. You touched my children? He roared. You hurt my boys? No, sir. I swear. His hand struck her before she could dodge. The slap hit her so hard her vision blurred. She fell to one knee, hands shaking. Sir, please listen. But he wasn't listening. His fear turned into blind rage. He grabbed her uniform and pulled her up. You nasty, worthless snake, he shouted in her face. How dare you touch my sons? I didn't, she cried, tears burning her bruised cheek. I found them like that, Claire. He hit her again. This blow split her lip. Don't say her name, Damon growled. Leave before I drag you out like trash. The twins whimpered in the corner, still wrapped in towels. Maya reached for them. Please, sir. Listen. Please don't touch them. Damon shoved her so hard she hit the counter, pain shooting up her back. Claire rushed to the boys, hugging them in a fake, sweet way while giving Maya a small, cold smirk. Just long enough for Maya to see she had planned all this. Maya held back a sob. Sir, please. I need this job. I haven't paid rent. I send money home. I didn't do anything wrong. Damon didn't even turn to look at her. "I don't care if you starve," he said coldly. "You hurt my boys. You're finished." "No. Please." Maya crawled toward him, hands shaking. Blood dripped from her lip to the floor. "I swear, I saved them. I heard them crying. They were freezing." "Enough!" Claire yelled. "Get her out." Damon pointed at the door. "Leave now or I'll call the police." Maya pulled herself up, holding the counter. She looked at the boys one last time, pale, shaking, scared to speak. Ethan reached his hand out toward her. But Claire pulled him close, whispering something in his ear. He went silent at once. Maya felt her heart break. She turned and walked away, each step heavy like punishment. Her vision blurred, her face throbbed. Her pride lay crushed on the cold floor. But the worst pain was leaving those boys behind. At the door, she paused. Outside, the cold wind shook the trees. Laughter and music floated from the mansion like a cruel joke. Maya wiped her lip. "This isn't over," she whispered. "I'll come back for them. I swear." Because she already felt the truth in her bones. The Whitmore mansion wasn't just hiding secrets. It was a trap. And Claire was the one who built it. If you felt Maya's pain too, like this video and comment where you're watching from. You might find someone nearby watching with you. Chapter 2. A game called Cold. The rain started the moment Maya was thrown off the Whitmore property. Cold, hard, and endless. It soaked through her coat as she stood outside the tall iron gates, holding her small suitcase, her lip bleeding, her cheek swelling, her heart torn wide open. She couldn't remember the last time she felt this small, this broken. Behind her, the mansion glowed like a shining palace, music drifting from the ballroom, laughter spilling from the windows as if nothing had happened. As if two little boys had not almost frozen to death under that roof. Maya turned and walked away, the gravel crunching under her shoes. Each step felt heavier than the last. She had no car. She couldn't afford one. The night felt colder than the freezer she pulled the boys from. Every breath hurt. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, and turn on notifications for the next chapter. Back in her tiny studio apartment, she sat in the dark. She pressed a warm rag to her swollen face, trying not to cry. Replaying everything again and again. Why didn't he believe me? Why would a man like Damon Whitmore, rich, smart, powerful, trust Claire so easily? Why not even ask for the truth? The answer burned in her mind. Because Maya was a maid. Because Maya was black. And Claire was beautiful, white, perfect on the outside, wealthy, connected, and trained to lie with a sweet smile. Maya clenched her jaw. No, this was not the end. Early the next morning, her face still sore, she put on a hoodie and caught the first bus heading toward the neighborhood. She got off 4 blocks before the Whitmore estate and stayed low behind tall bushes, afraid someone would see her. She moved quietly around the back of the property. She wasn't trying to enter. Not yet. She just needed to see the boys. She waited behind the iron fence near the garden. At 9:15 a.m., the kitchen curtains opened. She saw a flash of golden curls, Claire. A few minutes later, the glass patio doors slid open, and the twins walked outside with a new staff member. A young woman Maya didn't know. She looked nervous and rushed. Ethan and Eli didn't run toward the swing set. They didn't play like normal 5-year-olds. They stood quietly near the bench, wrapped in cardigans, their eyes dull like dimmed lights. Their shoulders hung low. They looked tired and scared. Maya's hand shook on the iron railing. Just seeing them alive gave her strength. But then, Claire stepped outside behind them. She wore a navy sweater, soft and expensive looking, and she carried a cup of coffee like a queen in her garden. She sat on the bench and smiled sweetly. Go on, boys, play. Show me how high you can go on the swing. Her voice was sugar-coated poison. Eli looked at the swing, then at Claire. He didn't move. Maya held her breath. Then Ethan gently nudged his brother, and Eli walked to the swing. He climbed on and rocked slowly back and forth. Claire smiled behind her mug again. Maya felt her stomach twist. Everything Claire did was fake. Just a show. Then Maya saw it. As Ethan walked near the flowers, she saw purple under his sleeve. A deep bruise, fading at the edges. Maya's stomach tightened hard. Then Claire stood up and walked toward Eli. She leaned close to him as the swing moved. Maya couldn't see everything because of the hedge, but she saw Claire's hand touch the chain. Claire whispered something. The next second, the swing jerked sideways. Eli fell. He hit the mulch with a hard thud and began to cry. Maya almost screamed. Claire rushed to him at once. "Oh, sweetheart," she said softly. "What happened? Did you slip again?" She hugged him too tightly while brushing dirt off his clothes. Maya saw Ethan standing still, watching his brother cry. But he said nothing. Maya knew why. The boys were scared. Scared to talk. Scared to make a mistake. Because if they did, Claire would punish them. And nobody would believe them. Just like nobody believed Maya. Back home, Maya pulled out an old notebook. It used to hold grocery lists. Now it would hold the truth. She opened to the first page and wrote, "Day 1 after the freezer." Ethan and Eli showing signs of trauma. Claire using fake affection. Damen angry and blind. She wrote for an hour. Every detail she remembered. Claire's threats. The bruise on Ethan's wrist. The fear in Eli's face. When she finished, Maya stared at the page. She knew what she had to do. She needed proof. Real proof. Not feelings. Not guesses. No one would believe her words. But they might believe facts. And she wasn't alone. She grabbed her phone and looked at her call history. Dr. Morales, the twins' pediatrician. He had been gentle with her. Before, he noticed the boy's strange behavior. He saw the marks. He felt something was wrong but had no proof. Maybe now he would listen. She called him. "Dr. Morales. It's Maya Williams. I don't work at the Whitmore house anymore. But something is very wrong with those kids. I need to talk to you." There was a long pause. Then his voice came. Steady and serious. "Meet me tomorrow morning at the clinic. Come early." Maya ended the call, her heart racing. Something had begun. She might have lost her job. She might be broke. She might be hurt. But she wasn't quitting. Because now Maya had something Claire didn't. A mission. And this time, she would be smarter. Claire Lannister swept in like a cold gust. Her gown shining, her hair perfect. Her smile sharp as a blade. A perfect smile covered Claire's face until she saw Maya holding the boys. Right then, Claire's eyes grew wide, and she gasped loudly like she was on a stage. "Oh my God. Maya, what have you done?" Maya felt her blood freeze. "What? What are you talking about?" "I saved." Claire screamed at the top of her voice, high and dramatic. "Damon! Damon, help." Later, she walked into the clinic like she had nothing to hide. The receptionist stared at her. "You're early, ma'am. The pediatricians don't start until—" "Doctor, Morales is expecting me," Maya said softly. The woman lifted her eyebrows. She picked up the phone, whispered something, then pointed toward a hallway. "Second door on the left." Maya thanked her and walked down the hall. Her steps were slow, heavy. This wasn't about her anymore. It was about Ethan and Eli. And whatever fresh nightmare Claire planned next. Dr. Morales opened the door before she could knock. He was in his late 50s, tall, with gray hair and gentle eyes. He motioned for her to enter and closed the door behind her. "You're hurt," he said right away, looking at her face. "I'm fine," Maya lied. Sit, he said kindly. She sat. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Maya reached into her bag and pulled out her notebook. She set it on his desk and opened it. I started writing everything down, she said. Everything I saw, what the kids said, how they acted, the bruises, the freezer, all of it. Doctor. Morales turned the pages slowly, his eyebrows pulled tight. I always felt something was wrong, he whispered. Claire, she always has a pretty explanation for everything. She's charming, but cold, too cold. If I ever question anything, she stops me before I can ask more. I tried to talk to Mr. Whitmore once about the boys being withdrawn, but he shut me down. The doctor added, told me not to question his fiancée. She's manipulating him, Maya said. He thinks she's perfect. She fools everyone. Dr. Morales flipped to another page. Locked in the freezer. Jesus. I found them, Maya whispered, voice cracking. We're turning blue. And when I tried to help, Claire blamed me. She told Damon, I did it. He hit me and fired me right there. The doctor's mouth tightened. I can report this, but unless I see the boys again, it won't be enough. I need more. I need your help getting back inside, Maya said. Even just to watch them, to see more, to get photos, to get evidence. Dr. Morales stared at her for a long time. Then he nodded slowly. I have an appointment with them next week. I'll insist on seeing them alone. If they don't show up, that's already a warning sign. Until then, he said, keep writing. Keep watching from afar if you have to. And Maya, be careful. Women like Claire don't just lie. They erase people. That evening, Maya took the long road home. She passed the Whitmore estate, staying in the shadows. The iron gate was closed tight. Security cameras watched every corner. The hedges were trimmed, sharp, and perfect. She stopped. Across the street, a dark SUV turned into the driveway. Windows tinted black. Claire stepped out with a shopping bag in one hand and a phone in the other. She was smiling the way predators smile when no one is looking. Maya's grip tightened around her phone. Back home, she opened her notebook again. Praise equals reward. Rules equals obedience. Dreams equals emotional control. Mother's memory equals weaponized guilt. She froze. She read that last line again. Claire had said something about their mother. Something that made Ethan and Eli freeze harder than the freezer itself. Then it clicked. Claire was changing their memories. She wasn't only hurting their bodies. She was reshaping their hearts. She was turning their mother, Isabel, into a source of pain. Maya stood, shaking. She's erasing Isabel from them. She remembered something. Miss Seuss. Carmichael, the neighbor, once told her. Isabel loved those boys. She would never let anyone hurt them. So how had she died? Claire had been Isabel's therapist, her confidant. She was the one Damon called during Isabel's postpartum struggles. And now Claire wore Isabel's ring, slept in her bed, raised her sons. Maya knew what she had to do next. Tomorrow, she would visit Mrs. Carmichael, ask more questions, anything she remembered about Isabel's final days. Maya would also start following Claire. At the store, at the gym, wherever she went, there had to be something behind her mask. There always was. But most important, Maya needed to get back into that house, because Ethan and Eli were still in danger. And every second without help pushed them closer to becoming shadows. Before bed, Maya opened her voice recorder. She whispered into the mic. My name is Maya Williams. I was fired for something I didn't do. 2 boys are being abused by Claire Lannister. I'm gathering proof. This file is evidence. If anything happens to me, let this be known." She paused. "I'm not a maid anymore." "Live." She paused. "Live. Live." She paused. "Happen other maid anymore. I'm a witness. And I won't stay silent." The next morning, sunlight spilled over the Whitmore mansion like a clean lie. The house glowed gold in the early light, warm and bright, hiding the darkness inside. Maya stood across the street behind a maple tree, her hood up as she sipped cheap gas station coffee. Her cheek still hurt with every swallow. Every blink reminded her of Damon's slap, but she wasn't leaving. Not today. At 7:32 a.m., the kitchen curtains moved. Someone walked inside. Maya held her breath. A minute later, the patio door opened. A maid she didn't recognize stepped out to shake off a tablecloth. Young, nervous, probably hired overnight. Claire worked fast. Through the glass, Maya saw the breakfast table. Long, white, perfect. Then she saw Ethan and Eli, two small figures climbing onto chairs too big for them. Her heart squeezed painfully. They sat quietly, heads down. There was no laughter, no morning noise like normal kids, only silence heavy and scared. Claire walked in with the grace of an actress entering a scene. She wore a cream silk blouse and neat pants, her hair pinned softly. Pretty, calm, dangerous. "Good morning, my angels," she said sweetly. The boys didn't answer. Claire ignored it. She placed fruit bowls in front of them, leaning so close her shadow covered their faces. "Eat up," she said. Voice gentle but tight. "Breakfast is important." Ethan touched a blueberry. Eli looked at his brother, hand shaking as he reached for a grape. Maya narrowed her eyes. Then she saw it. Eli winced. Just a little. His sleeve slid back. A new bruise showed. Dark. Fresh. Finger-shaped. Maya's chest burned. Claire's smile grew. "Good boys. That's better." She walked around the table, heels soft on the rug. Her face calm. But when she moved behind Eli, her hand dropped under the table. Eli stiffened. His shoulders rose. He wasn't eating. He was surviving. Maya's nails dug into her palm. A moment later, Damon entered the room, fixing his cufflinks. He still looked tired from last night. But Maya saw something clearly even from outside. He did not feel guilty. Not at all. "Morning," Damon said. Claire lit up like a bright chandelier. "Good morning, love," she sang. She walked to him, kissed his cheek, and wrapped her arm around him. To anyone watching, they looked perfect. Rich, calm, picture-ready. But to Maya, the scene felt fake and choking. "Kids behaving today?" Damon asked, ruffling Ethan's hair. "Oh, absolutely," Claire said sweetly. "They're angels with me." She gave the boys a warm smile that wasn't warm at all. "Aren't you?" The boys nodded a tiny bit. Scared and stiff. Damon didn't notice. He poured himself coffee while Claire followed behind him. She brushed pretend dust off his jacket. She whispered something in his ear. Soft and practiced. Maya knew that move. Whisper. Touch. Praise. Claire's favorite tools. But today, Maya noticed something. New. Every time Claire talked to Damon, the boys' faces fell. As if her sweetness toward him was a quiet punishment for them. Claire tapped Damon's chest. "Don't forget lunch at 2. Investor calls at 3. And the boys have tutoring later." Damon smiled. Calm again. "What would I do without you?" Claire laughed softly. "You'd lose your mind." The twins looked at each other with fear. A silent message between them. "You poor babies," Maya whispered from her hiding place. The moment Damon stepped out to answer a phone call, Claire turned back to the boys. Her smile dropped instantly. Her whole face changed. "Sit up straight," she snapped. Ethan sat up so fast the chair squeaked. "Eyes here," she said sharply. Eli lifted his head at once. She leaned close between them, her voice low and sharp. Maya could barely hear it from outside. "If either of you embarrasses me in front of your father today," Claire whispered, "we will play the 1-minute cold game. Tonight. Do you understand?" Both boys nodded, terrified. "Good," Claire said brightly. She placed a small toast piece on each plate. "Now eat," Maya gasped behind the tree. The cold game. She was still using it, still threatening them. Maya felt her throat tighten. Her breath shook. Threat of cold equals ongoing control. Claire changes behavior fast. Sweet for Damen. Cruel for the kids. More proof the abuse was growing. She looked at the mansion again. Claire walked to make herself tea. Inside, Ethan reached for his orange slices, but his sleeve knocked over his juice glass. It spilled across the white cloth. He froze. Eli froze. The whole room froze. Claire turned slowly, her smile thin and sharp. "Well," she said softly, "look what you've done." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't fix mistakes," Claire said, kneeling beside him. She blotted the spill with a napkin. Eli swallowed hard. "Please don't be mad," he whispered. Claire's eyes darkened. "Pleased." "Oh, darling," she said gently. "I'm not mad." She stood up, calm again. "But we'll talk later, won't we?" Ethan began shaking. "No, please." Claire brushed his hair lightly. "Be a good boy today, and maybe I'll forget." Maya's vision filled with heat. She couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't stay outside the glass, watching evil unfold. Watching two small boys suffer in silence. She stepped forward, ready to cross the street, ready to pound on the door, ready to scream the truth, ready to drag those boys out if she had to. But a black SUV turned the corner fast, its engine loud, its size blocking her path. Maya ducked down behind the tree, her heart hammering, her breath harsh in her throat. She wasn't giving up. Not now. Not after seeing this. Because Ethan and Eli were running out of time, and Maya knew it. She knew Claire's games were getting worse. And soon, something far darker could happen. A delivery truck rolled past her hiding spot behind the tree. If she was caught near the estate, Claire would twist the story again. Maya closed her eyes and breathed in the cold air. Not yet. She needed proof. Real proof. Photos, videos, witnesses. One wrong move and Claire would destroy her again, or frame her for something worse. Still, Maya whispered, "Hold on, boys. I'm coming back. I swear I am." At that moment, Ethan turned his head toward the window. Only for a second. But it was enough. His eyes found Maya through the glass. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. He only looked at her. Silent and begging. "Save us." Maya pressed a hand to her chest. She whispered, "I promise." And for the first time since being thrown out, she felt this wasn't just justice anymore. This was war. The next morning, Maya stood in front of the bathroom mirror, breathing slowly as she dabbed concealer over her fading bruise. It still hurt. Damen's hand had left more than a mark. But it no longer made her a victim. It made her a survivor. She tied her curls into a low ponytail and pulled on a tan delivery uniform she borrowed from a friend who worked part-time for a flower shop. The badge was fake. The clipboard was real. She checked the folded bouquet of roses and lilies inside her bag. Real flowers. Real scent. Believable. Then she tucked a tiny black recording device into the ribbon. Its blinking red light was no bigger than a freckle. If this worked, she'd capture audio. If she was lucky, Very lucky she might get inside. Maya walked a mile and a half toward the Whitmore estate, clutching the bouquet like a lifeline. Every step made her heartbeat jump. She reached the speaker by the gate and pressed the call button. After a few seconds, a voice came on. Young. Female. The new maid. Hi. Flower delivery for Claire Lannister, from Wedgwood Floral. It's urgent. One moment, the voice replied. Maya waited, stomach tight. A click sounded. The gate opened. Just like that, she stepped inside, moving calm and steady like someone paid to smile. The new maid opened the front door, wiping her hands on her apron. Miss Claire's out. You can leave them in the foyer. Sure thing, Maya said, pitching her voice a little higher, less familiar. Inside, the house was just as Maya remembered. Too quiet, too clean, too perfect. Music played faintly from the parlor. She walked down the hallway toward the back staircase the one staff used. The carpet softened her steps. Every framed photo on the wall reminded her the mansion was a museum of lies. She climbed to the second floor. Guest rooms, offices, Damon's study, then the twins' room. She pressed her ear to the door. Nothing. She opened it slowly. Empty. 2 small beds neatly made. Toys lined up like soldiers. No clutter, no crayons, no life. With her free hand, she slid the recorder under the table lip and pressed it behind a wooden panel. Stuck. Hidden. Recording. Maya backed away. Would you like me to sign anything? The maid asked behind her. Maya shook her head. All good. Drop and go. The maid smiled and opened the door for her. Then it happened. As Maya turned to leave, a voice echoed from upstairs. A child's voice. No. Please don't. Maya froze. The maid didn't react. Maybe she heard it often. But Maya knew that voice. Eli. And he was terrified. Maya looked down the hall slowly. The maid didn't notice anything. She was already walking away. Without thinking, Maya pulled a tiny hairpin from her pocket, the one wrapped with sticky tape. She dropped it into the doorframe as she stepped outside, letting the door close but not latch. No, please don't. Again. Clearer. Eli. Maya's stomach twisted. She turned her head. No clutter. No drawings. No sign children lived freely here. Then another sound came from down the hall. Claire's voice. Low. Controlled. Quiet down. This is your fault. Followed by Ethan's. Whisper. Soft. Shaken. Crying. Maya followed the sound. A narrow hallway led to what used to be Isabel's yoga studio. Heavy curtains covered the entrance. The door stood slightly open. Maya crept closer, barely breathing. She peeked inside. Claire stood by a small desk, holding Eli by the wrist. Hard. Too hard. His face was red and wet with tears. You embarrassed me, Claire whispered. You make Daddy worry. And when Daddy worries, he gets angry. Do you want that? Eli shook his head fast. Claire released him. Calm as a statue. She walked to a small cooler on the table and opened it. Ice. She grabbed a towel, scooped handfuls of it, and turned back to him. Hold this on your face, or the swelling will make you look guilty. Maya covered her mouth. She stepped back, heart pounding, vision shaking. A floorboard creaked under her foot. Silence. Inside the room, Claire turned. Footsteps. Who's there? Maya ran. Down the hall. Around the corner. Down the stairs. Voices rose behind her. Hey. Who's upstairs? A man's voice. Security. Maya flew down the staff stairs, nearly slipping, burst into the foyer, and shoved the door open. Thank God the hairpin held. She sprinted across the long driveway, bouquet bouncing. Shouts echoed behind her. She didn't stop. Not until she reached the street. Not until she hid behind a parked car, gasping for breath, hands shaking. Then she pulled out her phone. The recorder was still running. She stopped it and replayed the last minute. Claire's voice. "You embarrassed me." Eli's sobs. "Hold this on your face." Clear. Perfect. Proof. Maya cried and smiled at the same time. She had it. Real evidence. She didn't go home. She walked fast at first, then slow as fear drained out of her. By downtown Hartford, her knees felt weak. Her throat burned from breathing too hard. She replayed the audio in her mind. The cold tone, the cruelty. It was abuse, and no one could deny it. But now what? She couldn't go to the police yet. Not with just one recording. They could twist it, call it helping a child with an injury, say it was out of context. She needed dates, patterns, photos, more recordings. She needed someone smart, someone who knew the system. She opened her contacts, scrolled, found the name. Naomi Rowe, family law attorney. They hadn't spoken in years. Naomi had once helped Maya's mother during a custody fight. Maya remembered her calm, sharp, strong. A black woman who didn't flinch when the system tried to crush people like her. Maya hit call. After 4 rings. Rowan Partners. Naomi speaking. "Naomi, this is Maya William," she said, voice cracking. "I don't know if you remember me." A pause. Then, "Of course I remember you. I thought about your mother recently. How are you?" "I'm in trouble," Maya said. "Or, no. I'm not. But 2 little boys are. And I have something, proof. But I don't know how long I'm safe with it." "Where are you right now?" "Downtown. Hudson and 9th. I'll be there in 20. Don't move." Naomi arrived 16 minutes later, in a beige trench coat, boots clicking with power. She hugged Maya gently, just enough to say, "You're not alone." They sat in the back of Naomi's Volvo with the heat blasting. Maya played the recording. Naomi listened without speaking. When it ended, Naomi exhaled slowly. "You said this happened today?" "Yes." Naomi started typing fast. "We'll timestamp it. We'll secure the chain of custody. I know someone who can clean the audio." "Maya, this is good, really good." "She's still hurting them," Maya said. "And no one believes me." "I believe you," Naomi said. "And this is the crack in her mask. The system is slow," Naomi continued. "But it moves if you push hard and smart." Maya wiped tears. "What do we do first?" "We document everything," Naomi said. "Every bruise. Every threat. Every day. Then we file with Child Protective Services through a legal advocacy group. Less red tape. Less chance of it being ignored." "Will they go to the house?" "If we build it right," Naomi said. "They'll have no choice." Maya hesitated. "Claire is careful. We're getting live. We're getting live at ObSubscribe. We're getting live at ObSabil. 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 We're getting live at ObSabil." "If she suspects anything, then we stay ahead," Naomi said. "You do not contact Damon. You do not go back into the house. No more stunts." "I had to go in." "I know," Naomi said. "And it worked. But next time could cost you more than a bruise." Maya swallowed hard. "From now on," Naomi said, "we do this by the book." That night, Maya slept for the first time in days. Not peacefully, but honestly. The next morning, she met Naomi at her office. They organized the case file. Naomi printed transcripts and helped Maya write a sworn statement. "Maya," she said after reading the first few pages, "you've done something incredible. Most people walk away. You stayed. I just did what anyone would do, Maya whispered. No, Naomi said softly. Most people wouldn't. By noon, Naomi had set up a meeting with a private child welfare investigator, a former social worker in his 60s. White hair, flannel shirt, hard eyes. His name was Ben Harlow. You the maid? He asked. I was, Maya said. He nodded. Good. Invisible people hear the most. She handed him the notebook, the recorder, the timeline. He read everything silently. When he finished, he said, Tomorrow, I'll go to the school. Talk to the teachers. Whisper around. You think they'll talk? Maya asked. They're mandatory reporters, Ben said. If they know something. He tapped the notebook. I'll find it. And if what you've shown me matches what the school has seen, Ben said, then we won't just have smoke. We'll have a fire. Before he left, Maya asked one last question. What happens to the boys if this works? Ben paused at the door. If it works, they'll be removed safely and placed with someone steady, maybe family. And if it doesn't? Ben looked down for a moment. Then the abuse continues. But at least they'll know someone tried. Sometimes that little spark keeps kids alive long enough to escape. He tipped his hat and walked out. Maya sat alone in Naomi's office for a long time, staring out the window. The clouds in the distance were darkening. But somewhere beneath them, something was shifting. Not rain, justice. A storm that would not wash away easily. The next day, Westbridge Academy buzzed with autumn chaos. Kids in navy and khaki uniforms dragged red and yellow leaves into the lobby. Their laughter echoed off the marble floors. Teachers waved goodbye to parents. The air smelled like crayons, pencil shavings, and cafeteria pancakes. No one noticed the older man entering through the glass doors. Ben Harlow stepped inside quietly. He looked out of place. Not dangerous, just older like a grandfather who wandered in from another time. His worn leather notebook sat under one arm. He walked with slow, steady confidence. He reached the front desk. The receptionist, a young woman with strawberry blonde hair, smiled politely. Good morning, sir. How can I help you? Morning, Ben said, removing his cap. Name's Ben Harlow. I'm with a family advocacy group, off the books for now. Following up on a wellness concern for two students, Ethan and Eli Whitmore. Her smile weakened. He saw it. Is Principal Mendez available? He asked kindly. 5 minutes later, he was led into a wood-paneled office that smelled like coffee and stress. Principal Mendez, a sharp-eyed Latina in her 40s, shook his hand. You're not the first person asking about those boys, she said. No? Ben asked, lifting an eyebrow. She folded her hands on the desk. I've had suspicions for months, but never enough for formal action. And with a family like the Whitmores, people tread lightly. Ben finished. Money acts like armor, Mendez agreed. And Claire Lannister. She terrifies me. She smiles too much, praises too quickly. When she speaks, you feel like she's studying you. Ben opened his notebook. Tell me what you've seen. Mendez hesitated, then leaned in. Eli stopped drawing altogether. He used to love art. Now he barely touches crayons. Ethan flinches when I get too close. They rarely speak unless pushed. And they call Claire mother, even though everyone knows she isn't. Any physical signs? No clear bruises. But last spring, Ethan had a finger splint. Claire said he slammed it in a piano bench. He never confirmed it. Ben wrote it down. What about other teachers? Their teacher, Miss Lively, tried to report concerns. Claire accused her of emotional tampering and threatened a lawsuit. She's been silent since. I'd like to speak with Miss Lively, Ben said. 10 minutes later, the young teacher walked in nervous, fidgeting with her lanyard, but relieved. "I knew something was wrong from the start," she said. "They don't act like 5-year-olds. They act like hostages." Ben nodded. "Do you keep student work? Notes? Notes? Drawings?" "Yes." She pulled 2 portfolios from her bag. "I saved everything. I didn't know why. Something told me I might need it." Ben opened Ethan's folder first. Every drawing was in black crayon. No color. Just boxes. Closed rooms. A tiny figure curled in a corner. Eli's folder was messier. Scribbles. Chaos. Fear in lines. That night, Maya sat on Naomi's couch as Ben laid out his findings. He placed the boys' drawings in front of her like evidence. Her hands shook as she picked up the papers. "Oh, God," she whispered. "She's freezing them in their minds." "Emotional abuse," Ben said. "Leaves fewer bruises but deeper scars. What happens now?" "What? What?" Maya asked. "We report to CPS," Naomi said. "With audio, statements, school evidence, art samples. Will they act fast?" Ben sighed. "That depends on the caseworker. Some fight, some don't. But this," he tapped the files. "This is hard to ignore." Maya looked at both of them. "I need to be there when they go in." Naomi shook her head. "Too dangerous. You're not protected." "I have to be there," Maya said. "If the boys don't see me, if they think I left them forever." Ben looked at her closely. "There is one way." 2 days later, CPS scheduled an unannounced welfare check. Maya sat 3 blocks away in Naomi's car, heart pounding. Inside, Ben went over the plan. "The agent's name is Dana Walsh. She knows everything. She'll ask to see the boys alone. Claire will fight back. But Dana's trained." "And if she doesn't slip?" Maya asked. "Then I step in," Naomi said. "We have backup. Media contacts. If Claire blocks the visit, it goes public." Ben leaned back. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." At exactly 11:30 a.m., a dark sedan pulled up to the gate. Dana stepped out, showed her badge, and waited. The gate opened. Maya couldn't see inside, but she felt the tension in her bones. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. "Why isn't she out?" Maya whispered. Naomi's phone buzzed. She answered. "Yes. Understood. We'll meet you there." Naomi turned to Maya. They let her in. Claire tried to stall, but Dana pushed through. "She's talking to the boys now." Maya gripped the seatbelt like a rope. Naomi placed a hand on hers. "This is the beginning, Maya." Maya stared out at the estate gates. "No," she said softly. "This is the reckoning." Inside the Whitmore estate, Claire paced the bright foyer like a queen guarding her land. Her smile was sharp, her blouse perfectly pressed, but her fingers twitched at her side. Dana Walsh from Child Protective Services was not the usual type. She didn't fear the Whitmore name. She wasn't softened by charm. And worst of all, she asked to talk to the boys alone. That had never happened before. Ethan and Eli sat side by side on the white sofa. Their legs dangled. Their hands were tight fists in their laps. Dana knelt in front of them, eye level, badge tucked away, her voice soft. "Hey guys, I'm Dana. I'm just here to talk. You're not in trouble. I promise." Claire hovered behind the doorway, watching. Dana turned her head slightly. "Ma'am, I need privacy for this part." Claire's smile tightened. "They're only 5. You can't expect—" "I can," Dana said. "And I do. Unless you prefer I come back with police." Claire's face fell just a little before she forced her smile back. "Of course. You have 10 minutes." She turned and left. As the door clicked shut, Dana changed completely. No more polite script, just truth. Okay, you two, listen very carefully. Her voice was calm, steady. You're safe right now, I promise, but I need your help to keep you safe. Can you do that? Eli looked at Ethan. Ethan nodded slowly. Dana continued. I've seen some drawings, and I've heard things from someone who cares about you very much. Ethan's eyes rose. Maya? Dana smiled. That's right. Eli's lip shook. She didn't leave? No, sweetie, Dana said gently. She's been trying to protect you every single day. Tears filled their eyes. Dana leaned closer. Did Claire ever lock you somewhere cold? They hesitated. Then Eli whispered, the freezer. Dana didn't react outwardly. She only wrote it down. Did she ever hurt you? Ethan glanced at his brother, then nodded. Dana asked her final question. Do you want to go somewhere safe for a little while? Both boys nodded without even looking at each other. The choice had already been made. Down the street, Maya sat on the curb, hands shaking. Naomi paced, nearby, checking her phone again and again. Across the road, the CPS car waited behind the gate. Too still. Too long. Ben watched through binoculars. Wait. Then at 11:29 a.m., the front door opened. Dana walked out first. Behind her were Ethan and Eli, each holding a small backpack. Claire was nowhere in sight. Maya jumped to her feet. Oh my God. Naomi grabbed her shoulders. Don't run to them. Let Dana finish. Maya's whole body ached to move, but she stayed still. Dana walked the boys to the car, helped them climb in, whispered something gentle, then shut the door. She paused and looked back at the house once. Then she got in the driver's seat. Moments later, the car rolled out through the gate. Ben lowered his binoculars. They're out. Naomi's phone buzzed. A message from Dana. Clear. Interview complete. Emergency order in motion. Maya can see them soon. Maya covered her face and sobbed. The boys were safe. Finally safe. That night, Maya sat in. Maya sat in. Maya. 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 Naomi's living room. The lights were dim. Her tea was cold. But she didn't care. Her mind replayed the image of the twins leaving that house. Where are they now? She asked softly. In a group home in the suburbs, Naomi said. Only temporary. Dana is pushing for family placement. That's not completely true. Maya looked up. You, Naomi said. Maya blinked. I'm not related. You don't have to be. Naomi said. Naomi said. Naomi said. State law allows placement with a non-relative if there's a strong bond and a safe home. And those boys, they trust you more than anyone. Maya swallowed hard. Naomi leaned closer. Listen carefully, Maya. Her voice was soft, but strong. You're safe right now, I promise. But I need your help to keep them safe. Can you do that? Eli looked at Ethan. Ethan nodded. Ethan nodded slowly. Dana continued. I've seen your drawings. And I've heard things from someone who cares about you very much. Ethan's head lifted fast. Maya? Dana smiled gently. That's right. Eli's lip trembled. She didn't leave? No, sweetie. Dana said softly. She's been trying to protect you every single day. Tears filled both boys' eyes. Dana leaned closer. And the anonymous watchdog blog that exposes cases like this? Ben added quietly from the corner. Once this breaks, Claire's power means nothing. People will start asking questions. Naomi pressed play again. Claire's voice filled the room cold, sharp, cruel. You embarrassed me. You make Daddy worry. And when Daddy worries, he gets angry. The words felt heavier now. More dangerous. But also more important, proof, truth, justice. Naomi looked at Maya. Tomorrow, she said. She doesn't get to hide behind money or charm or Damien's shadow. Tomorrow, her mask cracks for good. Maya took a deep and about-it birding breath. And for the first time since all this began, she smiled without fear. Because tomorrow wasn't just another day. Tomorrow, the world would finally hear the truth. Morning didn't break with birds or sunshine. It broke with phones buzzing across Hartford. Emails pinged. Headlines updated. Social media erupted in a firestorm that grew stronger each minute. Claire Lannister's name flashed across every screen. The audio had leaked. Audio proves Nanny's verbal abuse. Twins removed from home after disturbing recording. Is this woman the real power behind a billionaire's throne? The clip went viral by 9:04 a.m. By 9:07, Claire's publicist quit. By 9:12, Damon Whitmore walked out of an investor conference. Face pale. Phone glued to his ear. By 9:30, press vans blocked the Whitmore gate. Inside the house, Claire stood at the bathroom mirror. Her face calm, but her pupils shaking. She gripped her phone hard. 6 calls to Damon, no answer. 3 to her, attorney voicemail. 1 to her sister, ignored. She opened Twitter. A mistake. The trending topics read, "Protect the twins. Claire Lannister. Exposed. Where is Damon Whitmore?" Her hands shook. This wasn't a scandal. This was destruction. Across town, Maya sat in Naomi's office watching it unfold live. Her hands were steady, but her chest burned with nerves. There was no going back now. Naomi scrolled through endless media requests. "They all want an interview," she said. "I'm not here for fame," Maya replied. "Just safety." Ben sat nearby, arms crossed. "Fame might keep Claire from crawling back into the shadows," he said. "She hates light. Roaches always do." Naomi looked at Maya. "You're trending, you know." Maya raised an eyebrow. Naomi turned the screen toward her. A screenshot of the audio hovered over Maya's name. This woman risked everything to save 2 children who weren't hers. Be like Maya. The photo was from her. 1. The photo was from her. Old staff ID, tired eyes, frizzy curls, no makeup. She looked ordinary. And somehow, to the world, she looked like a hero. Naomi's voice softened. "They see you now. Really see you." Maya exhaled. "I didn't do this to be seen." "I know," Naomi said. "That's why it matters." At noon, Damon finally called. Naomi answered on speaker. "Where is she?" His voice cracked. "Where are my sons?" "They are in protective custody," Naomi said firmly. "And you are not allowed to contact them yet. You're also being investigated for neglect." "I didn't know," he said, voice breaking. "I didn't know." Maya stepped closer. "Yes, you did," she said coldly. "You just didn't look." He was silent. Then softly, "Can I speak to Maya alone?" Naomi gave her a questioning look. Maya nodded. She took the phone. "Maya, I saw the footage. The drawings. God, I was blind." "You weren't blind," Maya said. "You were comfortable." "I blind. You were comfortable. She told me it was you. She said you hurt them." "And you believed her?" Maya asked. "Because it was easier to blame the maid than your fiancé? Because I'm black? Because I'm poor? Because I was just staff." Silence. Then Damon whispered, "I want to make this right. Whatever it takes." Maya clenched her jaw. "Then testify against her. Publicly. Admit what you ignored." "I will," he said. "I promise." But Maya knew promises meant nothing without action. Later that afternoon, Claire made her move. With cameras flashing, she walked out of the Whitmore mansion in a designer trench coat and huge sunglasses. She didn't respond to reporters' screams. She walked straight into a waiting black car. But the picture hit every news site. The Ice Queen under fire. That evening, her lawyer released a statement. Miss Lannister denies all allegations. The audio was manipulated. The children are traumatized and coached. We will pursue legal action against defamation, Naomi snorted. Classic smear and deny. Ben was less amused. She's building a defense fast. We're building faster, Maya said, because now more voices were joining her. A teacher. Another teacher. A former housekeeper who left months before Claire moved in. She claimed she saw Claire crushing Isabel's pills and throwing away bottles. Then came the neighbor. Mrs. Langston, 2 doors down. Old, sharp-eyed, always watching. She called Naomi's office. I saw that woman dragging one of those boys out of the garage freezer, she said. I thought I imagined it. But now I know I didn't. Naomi wrote down every word, every witness, every bruise, every lie. The case was no longer a whisper. It was thunder. That night, Maya visited the boys. It was brief, supervised. But when she stepped into the small playroom and they saw her, both boys ran to her. Maya, they cried, arms wrapping around her waist. Eli held her tighter. You came back. Always, she whispered, hugging them close. Ethan looked up. Is the bad lady gone? Not yet, Maya said. But she will be, and she'll never hurt you again. They sat on the carpet and played checkers. They talked about cartoons. They complained about the boring meals but said the beds were soft. And when the visit ended, they didn't cry. Because goodbye didn't mean forever. It meant see you soon. Outside, Naomi waited by the car. Maya got in and stared at the glowing windows of the facility. How long until court? She asked. Soon, Naomi said. And when we do go, we'll be ready. Because the story wasn't over, but the battle had begun. Known. 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 The Hartford Superior Court was a gray block of stress and paperwork. But on the morning of the emergency custody hearing, it buzzed like a hornet's nest. Reporters crowded the steps, clutching mics and cameras. Everyone whispered the same words, the Whitmore twins abuse case. Inside, the air felt tight and cold. Maya sat beside Naomi outside courtroom 2B, hands locked in her lap. She wore a simple navy dress, her hair pulled back, but her eyes held the fire of a mother bear. Breathe, Naomi whispered. The judge isn't ruling guilt today, just custody and protection. This is step 1. Maya nodded, though her stomach twisted. Across the hall, Claire sat with her legal team, 3 lawyers in perfect suits. Claire wore sleek gray, acting calm. But Maya saw the truth. The tight jaw, the shaking fingers. Claire was unraveling. The courtroom doors opened. A bailiff stepped out. Case 41782. Child Protective Services versus Lannister/Whitmore. Please enter. Maya stood slowly. Naomi squeezed her hand. They entered the courtroom. At the front sat Judge Margot D. Bellinger Black, mid-60s, famous for zero tolerance for nonsense. Good, Maya thought. Ben Harlow sat behind the CPS rep, notebook ready. Damon Whitmore was nowhere in sight. The hearing began. Motions. Objections. Arguments. Then Dana Walsh took the stand. Her testimony was calm and devastating. She described the boys' words, their drawings, their bruises, their fear. She repeated Claire's outburst during her home visit. How Claire called the boys broken burdens. Claire's lawyer objected. The judge allowed it. Dana's words hung in the room like a loaded gun. Then came the audio. Naomi submitted the file. The judge pressed play. The judge pressed play. You embarrassed me. You make Daddy worry. And when Daddy worries, he gets angry. Gasps filled the courtroom. Claire stiffened, but didn't flinch. The judge paused the audio. Verified? Yes, Your Honor. Forensically confirmed. And the voice is Miss Lannister's? Yes, Naomi said. Claire's lawyer jumped up. 40. 49. 49. Objection. The recording was obtained illegally. The judge cut him off. This is family court, counselor. Our concern is child safety. And this recording is damning. Then Maya took the stand. She told everything. The freezer. The threats. The slap. The lies. The boy's fear. When Naomi asked why she stayed, Maya's voice wavered. Because they had no one else. And why did you record the audio? Because no one believed me without it. And what do you want now? I want them safe, Maya said. And if the court allows, I want to care for them permanently. A murmur swept through the courtroom. Claire's lawyer laughed. You want custody? The judge silenced him with a glare. 8. No one else came for them, Maya continued. Not Damon. Not family. I fed them. I comforted them. I saw them. I'm not their blood, but I'm the only one who ever truly saw them. Judge Bellinger looked at her for a long moment, then turned to Claire. Miss Lannister, would you like to speak? Claire stood slowly, adjusting her jacket like armor. Claire rose slowly, adjusting her jacket like armor. She stepped to the stand, with a practiced calm, her chin high. Your Honor, she began. I loved those boys. Everything I did was to protect them. The audio was edited. The accusations are lies. This woman, she pointed at Maya, has been trying to destroy me since the day she was fired. Maya didn't move. She didn't blink. Judge Bellinger raised a hand. That's enough. Sit. Claire froze. That tone allowed no argument. She sat down tightly, her knuckles white. The judge looked through the files again, slow and thoughtful. Then she folded her hands. Based on the evidence audio, school reports, witness statements, and the children's own words, this court has no choice but to take immediate action. Claire's jaw tightened. Naomi held her breath. Maya's heart pounded. I am granting temporary custody to Child Protective Services, the judge said. And I am issuing a protective order against Miss Lannister. Claire shot to her feet. Claire Knight. And I'm cell-averse. Claire shot to her feet. What? That's ridiculous. What? Sit down or be removed, the judge snapped. Claire sat. Hard. Lips trembling. The judge continued. As for long-term placement, the court acknowledges the bond between the minors and Miss Maya Williams. Maya's breath caught. She felt her pulse drum in her ears. Naomi squeezed her hand. Ben straightened in his seat. Even Claire looked shocked. Pending evaluation of her home environment, the judge said, Miss Williams may be considered for kinship placement. Claire whispered. No. Her voice cracked. Maya? Maya stared ahead, steady and calm. She didn't look back. The judge lifted her gavel. This hearing is adjourned. The sharp bang echoed through the room like thunder. Outside the courtroom, reporters crowded the hallway. Flashbulbs popped. Microphones rose like a forest of metal stems. Voices collided. Miss Williams, how does it feel? Are the twins safe? Do you want custody? Maya kept walking, Naomi and Ben shielding her from the noise. She held her head high. Not in pride, in purpose. Down the block, the CPS car waited. Inside sat Ethan and Eli, backpacks on their laps, feet swinging. When Maya reached the door, they saw her. Eli's face lit up. "Maya!" Ethan pressed his hands to the window. Dana opened the back door. "You can say hello," she said softly. Maya knelt. Both boys wrapped their arms around her neck. Warm, tight, real. "You came," Ethan whispered. "Always," Maya said. "Always." Dana stepped closer. "They'll stay in the group home tonight," she said. "But if all goes well, you'll have your home visit soon." Maya nodded, her throat tight, her heart full and hurting at the same time. As the CPS car pulled away, Maya stood on the sidewalk, watching. The boys waved through the window. Small hands, big hope. Naomi placed a hand on Maya's back. "This is just the start," she said. Maya nodded. Because the story wasn't ending. It was turning, shifting, into something stronger. A fight, a future, a promise kept. Across town, Claire Lannister sat alone in her mansion. Reporters outside, headlines everywhere. Her phone silent for once, her grip on power slipping like sand. She stared at her own reflection, but for the first time, she didn't see a queen. She saw fear, because the world finally knew. And Maya wasn't afraid anymore. Maya stepped into the sunlight, her voice steady, her path clear, her promise alive. The battle wasn't over, but the boys were safe, and she was ready for whatever came next. "All of this is a smear campaign," Claire said coldly. "That recording was taken out of context. The boys are fragile. They've always had behavioral issues." Maya, she pointed with disgust, was fired for misconduct. She wants attention. "Do you deny the children were locked in a freezer?" the judge asked. "I deny doing it on purpose," Claire replied. "It was a game. Hide and seek. They knew how to get out. And even if they didn't, it was only for a few minutes." Gasps filled the courtroom. Maya stared at her in shock. The judge wrote something down. Then Claire added, "And about custody, she's a maid. A nobody. My fiancé would never let his sons be raised by someone like her." That was it. In that moment, Claire exposed herself. Not just cruel, arrogant. Judge Bellinger cleared her throat. After reviewing every piece of evidence, the court rules as follows. Temporary custody of Ethan and Eli Whitmore is granted to Maya William, effective immediately. Claire's mouth fell open. Miss Lannister is banned from contact with the children pending full investigation. Damon Whitmore will be subpoenaed. Case adjourned. The gavel cracked like thunder. Maya didn't move. Naomi grabbed her hand. "You did it," Ben whispered behind her. "You saved them." Maya stood, legs weak. Reporters waited outside. Headlines would explode again. Damon would crawl back eventually. And Claire would strike again. But none of that mattered anymore. The boys were hers. The system had listened. The truth had been louder than money. Louder than lies. There was no going back. The next morning, sun leaked through the thin curtains of Maya's small apartment. The beige walls felt warmer. The floor still creaked, but now the air was full of laughter. Eli and Ethan sat at the kitchen table, cheeks stuffed with eggs and toast. Maya flipped pancakes with one hand, holding her phone with the other. "Yes, I'll come in for the background check this afternoon," she said, smiling. "I've already submitted guardianship forms and the insurance transfer. What else do you need?" She listened. "Great. I'll bring their birth records and shots list." "I have copies." She hung up. "Okay. Gentlemen," she said, turning to them. "Finish breakfast, brush teeth, pack your new backpacks, and then we meet your school counselor." Ethan raised his hand. "Can I take my blue dinosaur notebook?" "Yes, sweetheart." Eli grinned. And my crayons? All of them, Maya said. Even the glitter ones. The boys cheered. Maya felt a tight ache in her chest. Love. Awe. Fear. This wasn't rescue anymore. This was motherhood. That afternoon, Maya met CPS to finalize the custody papers. Dana Walsh walked her through everything. Fingerprints, home study, trauma classes. You're doing better than most, Dana said. These kids aren't just safe, they're healing. Maya smiled. But her, the torture play, take of stage, that on live, grip tightened. I'm scared. Good, Dana said. It means you care. Then, her tone shifted. Then her tone shifted. Then her tone shifted. Just be ready. Claire isn't done. People like her don't disappear quietly. I know, Maya said. That's why I'm not alone anymore. And she wasn't. That evening, Naomi brought groceries and soft pillows. Ben emailed 3 trauma therapy referrals. Mrs. Langston brought a chicken pot pie and said, "They're safe now. You've done good." Community, something Maya had never truly known, was suddenly everywhere. That night, as Maya tucked the boys into their new twin beds, Eli asked softly, "Is the bad lady gone forever?" Maya knelt between them. "Not forever. But she's not coming near you. I promise." Ethan frowned. "What if she lies again? What if people believe her?" Maya breathed in. "Some people with power lie. And sometimes they get away with it. For a while. But when enough people tell the truth, and don't give up, the truth wins." Eli curled into his blanket. "Because we're brave?" "Yes," Maya said. "You told the truth. That's the bravest thing a kid can do." "Are you staying?" Ethan asked. Maya kissed both their foreheads. "Forever. If you'll have me." They pulled her into a tangled hug. The nightlight glowed. No one cried themselves to sleep. Meanwhile, the Whitmore estate felt dead. Damon returned the next day with his lawyer and PR team. The house felt cold, empty, stripped of life. Claire was gone. Vanished in a private car during the night. Rumors swirled. Canada, Europe, treatment center. But Maya knew better. Claire wasn't broken. She was regrouping. Even so, the empire cracked. Board members questioned Damon's judgment. Charities pulled partnerships. Investors demanded answers. Damon barely slept. Images of his sons, cold and hollow in the hospital, haunted him. He called Maya once. She didn't answer. He left a message. "I was weak. I let her fool me. I don't expect forgiveness. But if you ever need help with the boys, school, therapy, anything, I'll be there. No strings." Maya deleted it. She didn't need apologies. She needed action. A week later, Maya stood at the DMV signing her new foster parent ID. The clerk smiled as she handed it over. "You don't look like most people I meet here," the woman said. "What do I look like?" Maya asked. "Like someone who's about to raise good men." Maya blinked tears away. She left with her name on plastic and a quiet promise in her heart. That night, she placed 2 toothbrushes in a cup, hung 3 jackets on hooks, and turned on the hall light not out of fear, but because this place wasn't hiding. It was home. October settled over Hartford. Leaves glowed like fire. Kids planned Halloween costumes. The air smelled like cinnamon and chimney smoke. Inside Maya's apartment, the kitchen smelled like apples and spice. Ethan colored a superhero with braids. Eli ran through the living room wearing a cereal box crown and paper cape. Chaos, noise, joy. Perfect. And fragile. Naomi reviewed the court schedule on her tablet. "Next week is the permanent custody evaluation," she said. "They'll check your home, routines, and interview the boys. I made a schedule, Maya said. Meals, school, therapy, everything. You're doing great, Naomi said. But Claire's team filed a challenge. Maya tensed. On what grounds? She claims emotional manipulation. That the boys were turned against her. She also wants supervised visitation. Maya's eyes widened. No. Absolutely not. We'll fight it, Naomi said. Just be ready. I'm ready, Maya said. I just don't want the boys to think she's coming back. They're smarter than people think, Naomi said. They know who loves them. That night, after the boys slept, Maya sat alone with tea. The night air smelled like wood, smoke. Quiet. Haunted. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, she answered. A smooth, low voice slid through the speaker. Did you really think this was over? Maya froze. Claire. You broke into a life you never deserved, Claire whispered. I built this world. You an underpaid nobody, you stole it with tears and pity. You hurt children, Maya said. Claire scoffed. I shaped them. I made them strong. Love is weak. Love is dangerous. You're sick, Maya said. No, Maya. I'm precise. And you'll see how precise when my lawyers tear your little fairy tale apart. Maya hung up. The silence felt poisonous. Claire was back. Not in public. In the dark. But Maya knew one thing. If Claire was calling, Claire was scared. And scared people strike when they're losing. The next morning, Maya stood at Westbridge Elementary, holding the boys' hands. Parents whispered. Some waved. Some stared. That's her, a mother whispered. The one with the billionaire's kids. Maya smiled anyway. The boys ran toward class. We're drawing family trees today, Ethan yelled. Add your grandma Naomi, Maya called. She turned and froze. Damon stood by his car. No suit, no cameras. Just jeans and a hoodie. Maya, he said softly. She approached slowly. What do you want? To help, he said. To apologize. He stepped closer. I revoked all shared custody claims with Claire. I filed a statement supporting your petition. And I offered to pay for the boys' education, no strings. Maya didn't answer. I failed them, he whispered. I failed you. The matter. I want to be in their lives. When you allow it. She studied him. You can send letters, she said. Maybe visit later. But this isn't about you anymore. It's about healing. Damon nodded. I understand. He handed her a small envelope. Pictures. Stories about their mom. You said they didn't remember her. Maya accepted it. Then, walked away. Some bridges don't burn. They simply fade. That night, Maya sat with the boys as they opened the envelope. Inside were photos of Isabel smiling in the snow, painting in sunlight, dancing with a toddler on each hip. The boys grew quiet. She was pretty, Eli whispered. She looks like she loved us, Ethan murmured. Maya pulled them close. She did, she said softly. She loved you more than anything. The boys leaned into her arms. Safe. Warm. Home. She looks like me, Ethan said softly. Maya nodded. She loved you very much. Do you think she'd like you? Eli asked. Maya smiled gently. I hope so. Ethan wrapped his arms around her waist. I think she'd pick you. And in that small moment, all the fear melted away. Not because Claire was gone, but because real love had roots now deep, strong roots no storm could pull out. Overnight, the first frost of the season swept across Hartford. Lawns turned silver. Roofs glistened like glass. From her kitchen window, Maya watched the cold paint its mark on the neighborhood. Her breath fogged against the glass. Inside, warmth hummed from the old radiator. Oatmeal and maple syrup filled the air. But even with comfort around her, Maya felt it a shift in the wind. Something was coming. She wasn't wrong. At 9:06 a.m., Naomi called. "She's filed for an injunction," Naomi said without greeting. Maya's grip tightened around the phone. "Claire." "Yes," Naomi said. "Her new legal team is pushing for an emergency hearing. She wants supervised visitation and access to the boys' psychological records." Maya's stomach twisted. "Elements, that can't happen. You know what she'll do with those records." "I already filed a motion to block it," Naomi said. "But the new judge, Judge Pine, is unpredictable. He favors money." "Status." Maya sat at the table, stunned. Naomi softened her tone. "We're ready. This is just a scare tactic." At that moment, Ethan and Eli ran in wearing tiny parkas, hats crooked, eyes bright. "Snow!" Ethan shouted. "Can we make snowballs after school?" Maya forced a warm smile. "Yes. Even if we have to build the snow ourselves." The boys cheered. And for a second, Maya blinked back tears. The ache of her old life was still there, her parents, her pain, her fear, but it was quieter now. The noise of love was louder. Later that night, when dinner was done and visitors gone, Maya tucked the boys in. Then she sat at the window with a cup of tea. The streetlight outside flickered like a small guardian. She opened her email. A message from Damien. That afternoon, Maya and Naomi sat in the civil courthouse waiting room. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Posters about tenant rights peeled at the edges. Nothing like the grand courtroom from before. No wood panels, no marble floors, just gray walls and gray rules. "I don't like this," Maya whispered. "You're not alone," Naomi answered. Claire entered 5 minutes later with 2 attorneys. She wore a plain navy dress, no designer shine, no bold makeup. She looked soft, vulnerable, crafted, a performance Maya knew too well. They were called inside a stale, cramped courtroom. Judge Pine barely looked up as the lawyers began. Claire's attorney spoke first. "Your Honor, my client has suffered weeks of public shaming. She has not been charged with any crime. She only seeks supervised contact with the children she helped raise." Naomi stood next, voice like steel. "We have 30 pages of testimony, audio, and psychological reports. Miss Lannister is medically determined to be harmful to the children." Then Claire stood. "I made mistakes," she said, eyes filled with practiced tears. "But I love those boys. I was under stress. Damien was absent. Maya turned them against me." Maya's fists curled tight. Judge Pine finally looked up. "Miss William? Anything to breath? Say?" Maya rose slowly, her voice calm but burning. "I don't care about your wealth," she said, staring at Claire. "I don't care about your lawyers, but I care about those boys. And I was there. I saw the bruises. I heard the words. I pulled them out of the freezer." Gasps filled the room. Claire flinched. "I'm not here for you," Maya continued. "I'm here for Ethan and Eli, and I will not let them go back into the shadows you came from." Judge Pine lifted a hand. "Enough." Silence. Then, his tired voice broke the air. "Motion denied. No visitation at this time. This case is deferred to the family court judge." A soft breath of relief left Maya. But Claire's eyes burned. As the room emptied, Claire leaned toward Maya and hissed, "This isn't over." Maya whispered back, "You're right. It's just beginning." That night back home, the boys sat on the couch watching cartoons, popcorn between them. Maya wrapped herself in a blanket. Her phone rang. "Ben?" She answered. "She's bleeding," he said. "What?" "Claire." Her PR team quit. 2 more witnesses came forward, 1 former nanny, 1 gardener. Both say emotional abuse. Maya exhaled slowly. Then a small voice tugged at her sleeve. Maya? Eli. Yes, love. If the wind changes, will we blow away? She smiled and brushed his hair. Not if we hold on to each other. Even if it gets cold. Especially then. Outside, wind scraped the windows like a warning. But inside, the light held steady. Thanksgiving came early that year, not on the calendar, but in the heart. Maya stood in her tiny kitchen, hands dusted with flour, cheeks warm from the oven's heat. The air was thick with the smell of roasted vegetables, garlic butter, turkey, and cinnamon apples. Outside, Hartford's trees stood bare, the wind twisting through the streets like a reminder of everything they had lost. But inside, something sacred was being built again. Eli danced barefoot on the tiles, waving a wooden spoon like a baton. Ethan stirred mashed potatoes with full concentration. Do we have cranberry sauce? He asked. Canned or homemade? Maya teased. Both. He grinned. Naomi arrived with sparkling cider and warm cornbread muffins. Snow dusted her coat. Is it just me? She said, inhaling deeply. Or does your apartment smell like a whole southern kitchen? You're welcome, Maya said, hugging her. And thank you for the muffins. The boys asked if Auntie Naomi was bringing her magic bread. Naomi laughed. You make one good batch and suddenly you're a legend. The table was simple, mismatched plates, folding chairs, but it was full. Ben arrived last with a pie and his old leather jacket. I come bearing calories and emotional support, he said. They gathered, said Grace, passed dishes around. The boys glowed with joy. Ethan insisted on giving a toast. With his plastic cup held high, he said, To family. Even if we had to build it from scratch. Everyone clapped. Maya blinked away tears. The pain of her past, her parents, her fear, her old life was still there. But quieter. The noise of love was louder now. Later that night, after dishes were washed and friends had left, Maya tucked the boys in. Then she sat by the window with tea. The streetlight flickered like a quiet guardian. She opened her email. A message from Damien. Subject. Apology. Part 2. I don't know if you'll read this, but I need you to know I'm still in therapy. I see what I allowed. I see what I didn't protect. You were right about Claire. And about me. Eli and Ethan are lucky. Not because of money. Because they have you. If you ever need my help again, I'll be waiting. Maya closed the email. Then typed back. They need more than your regret. She hit send. Winter thickened. Snow blanketed the streets. The boys settled into school. Made friends. Joined the winter recital at the community center. Maya sat in the front row, camera ready, as they sang Let It Snow in paper snowflake hats. She didn't care that they sang off-key or that Eli tripped over a giant candy cane. She clapped the loudest. That night, Maya hung up their scarves and wiped snow from their boots. Big day at school tomorrow? She asked. Eli nodded. We're making thankful trees. You write what you're thankful for on leaves and put them on a big paper tree. I'm putting you on my tree, Ethan said. Her throat tightened. I'm thankful for you too, Maya whispered. Later, Naomi called. They want you to speak at the conference, she said. There will be media, survivors, advocates, the whole state watching. I don't know, Maya whispered. I'm not a speaker. You don't have to be, Naomi said. You just have to be honest. Maya sighed. But if I speak, I'm doing it for them, not for me. That's what makes it powerful, Naomi replied. That night, Maya went to the closet and pulled down a cardboard box labeled Old Life. Inside were photos, old pay stubs, her worn uniform shirt from the Whitmore estate, and a stack of drawings the twins had made when their world was still full of fear. One drawing showed Maya with big hair and a bright smile, two stick-figure boys hugging her legs. Underneath, in shaky crayon letters, "Maya is home." She closed the box and placed it back on the shelf. Then she opened her laptop. The blank conference application stared back at her, and she began typing. "My name is Maya William. I was the maid, the scapegoat, the witness, the voice that wasn't supposed to matter. But I spoke anyway, and this is what happened next." The day of the conference came with heavy snow. Downtown Hartford was covered in white. Plows carved narrow paths through the streets, but crowds still lined up outside the Civic Arts Center. Inside, the grand hall glowed with warm lights. Rows of chairs filled, with people, journalists, survivors, families, supporters. Some wore suits. Others wore heavy winter scarves and snow-dusted boots. At the front, the podium stood like a lighthouse. Backstage, Maya adjusted her blazer in the mirror. Her palms were damp, her breath shaky. "You okay?" Naomi asked beside her, steady as ever. "No," Maya whispered, but she stepped forward anyway. She walked onto the stage. The room fell silent. Cameras clicked softly. A sea of eyes waited. She wasn't looking for applause. She wasn't looking for fame. She was looking for one face out there. One person who might need to hear the truth. And then she spoke. "My name is Maya William. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a CEO. I'm not famous. I was a maid." A ripple of murmurs moved through the crowd. "I was fired, humiliated, slapped, blamed." Her voice shook, but it held. "And this is what happens when the world finally listens. But I'm here," Naomi whispered, squeezing her shoulder. "That's what matters." A volunteer lifted a hand. It was time. Maya stepped out. Applause washed over her, polite, soft, full of quiet curiosity. Not loud, not wild, but ready to listen. She gripped the podium. "And I learned something," she said. "Silence isn't safety. It's permission." Heads nodded across the room. "Justice didn't come because the system cared," she continued. "It came because I refused to disappear." Someone in the third row, a woman with white hair and wet eyes, held her gaze. "You don't need power to make change," Maya said. "You only need to hold the line, stand between truth and the lie, and never move." The applause grew slow at first, then rising like a wave. Maya stepped back, heart racing. Behind the stage, Naomi opened her arms. "You did it," she whispered. "No," Maya said, hugging her tight. "We did." That night, after the conference ended and her speech spread across the internet, Maya sat on the couch with the boys. They didn't understand everything she had said, but they knew something big happened. "We saw you on TV," Ethan grinned, waving a drawing of her at a podium. "I made your hair really big," Eli giggled. Maya laughed and pulled them close. "Do you know why I spoke today?" "Because you love us," Ethan said proudly. "Yes," she smiled. "And because I want the world safer for all kids, not just you." Eli frowned. "But what if people don't listen?" "Then we speak louder," Maya said. "And we keep going." The doorbell rang. Naomi stood there holding 2 new backpacks and a bottle of sparkling cider. "They're official now," she said. Maya opened the envelope. Final approval of permanent guardianship. Ethan and Eli William legally hers. Tears filled her eyes. "I don't know what to say." "You already said it." Naomi smiled. To the whole world. Across town. Damon watched the speech on his office computer. Shame burned in his chest. He had money. He had status. But she had courage. He typed, "Your words mattered. I'll keep my distance unless you say otherwise. Thank you for saving them." He hit send, closed his eyes. This was what a real legacy looked like. Not wealth. Truth. News anchors buzzed about her story. Maya William, former housekeeper. Now national advocate for child safety. Survivors wrote in. Donations poured into shelters. Mothers across America hugged their children tighter because a woman who wasn't supposed to matter stood up, and the world listened. A week later, Maya stood at Maple and 9th Street, coat zipped, cheeks stinging from the cold. Across the road was a brick building. Maple View, Transitional Housing Center, peeling paint, rusty bike. But inside, lives were being rebuilt. She wasn't speaking on a stage today. No cameras, just folding chairs and women like her, women who survived systems that swallowed them. One woman shared how a relative hurt her child, and the state blamed her for not seeing it sooner. Another escaped a rich ex-husband who dragged custody through courts just to break her spirit. Every story cracked something open. When Maya's turn came, she didn't rise, didn't perform. She just said, "They told me to be grateful for my job, grateful for a roof, grateful to stay quiet. But I asked questions anyway, and everything fell apart." She paused, and then something better was built. A woman with scars along her jaw nodded. "Sometimes, the only thing we have left," she said softly, "is our name." Maya touched the folded drawings in her purse. Thick red crayon letters. Maya William. Best mom in the world. Her name mattered now, because she made it matter. The next morning, Maya opened her mail. No return address. Inside was a single letter. Maya, I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm learning the difference between reputation and truth. You won. Not by destroying me, but by refusing to become me. I'm leaving the country. For now, maybe forever. The day I lost was the day the boys called for you, not me. See. Maya read it twice, then tore it into pieces, dropped them into the trash. Claire Lannister's words had no power here. Only action mattered. Only love stayed. That evening, the apartment burst with noise. Ethan and Eli ran around wearing pillowcapes and paper crowns. Maya danced with them, laughing until she nearly fell over the blanket fort. "Watch out, Mama Lion," Ethan yelled. "I'm not the lion," she teased. "I'm the queen," Eli squealed. "Then we're your baby kings?" "Yes," she said, pulling them close. "Forever." A knock at the door. Maya froze. She opened it slowly. Damon stood there. Not polished, not powerful, just human. A duffel bag over his shoulder, a small wrapped box in his hand. "I'm leaving for Seattle," he said. "Starting over. I signed over my full parental rights, permanently." Maya's breath caught. "I won't come back unless they ask for me. I just wanted to say goodbye." He handed her the box. Inside was a framed photo of Isabel holding the twins as babies in the garden. "They should know where they came from," he said softly. "Thank you," Maya whispered. "I don't deserve that." "You don't," she said gently, "but you can still become better." He nodded, turned, and walked into the night. Ethan ran up. "Who was that?" "Someone from before," Maya said. "But we're not looking back now." "We're going forward?" Eli asked. Maya smiled. "All the way forward." That night, Maya tucked the boys into bed. "Tell us the story," Ethan whispered. "The one about how you found us." She sat between their beds. "Well," she said softly, "once, there were two very brave boys." She told everything. The freezer, the fear, the love, the rescue. When she reached the part where the judge said, "They are yours now," the boys smiled in the dark. "And then what happened?" Ethan murmured. "Then we lived," Maya whispered. Not happily ever after? Eli asked. She chuckled. No, baby, just ever after. Through the good days, the hard days, the tears, the pancakes, through everything. Will you still be here when I'm big? Ethan whispered. Even when you're taller than me. Promise? Eli asked. Maya took both their hands. Always. They fell asleep holding her fingers. Later, with the apartment quiet, Maya sat by the window with tea. The hallway light glowed gently. She left it on every night, now a symbol of safety, of being seen, of never again being trapped in the dark. For the first time in her life, the future didn't feel heavy. It felt open. Maya William hadn't just survived, she had built something worth living in. And as long as that light stayed on, none of them would ever be in the dark again. If this story moved, you subscribe, like the video, and turn on the bell for more.